Hello, and thank you for watching this video about creating a culture of innovation. And in the video, I'm going to share with you some ideas for how leaders can foster innovation, not just by being great innovators, but by cultivating an organization that has a culture where leadership thrives throughout. And if you find that information useful, you can find more helpful tips at edingergroup.com, and you can follow me on Twitter at Scott K. Edinger. Enjoy. In real estate, you always hear location, location, location. And in business, if you want to succeed, it's about innovation, innovation, and innovation. Now, the good news for all of us is that innovation isn't just about, for any given company, one or two people coming up with great ideas. Rather, it is about how leaders create a culture where innovation thrives, so that you're not only relying on a couple of people for their great ideas, but rather you can tap into the strengths of the entire organization and create a culture where innovation exists in every corner of the business. I've written a lot about this in Forbes and business journals, and one of the conclusions that I've come to is that the best organizations, when it comes to creating a culture of innovation, have a vision for outcomes. That is, they focus on results. They don't manage tasks, and they don't manage the input. They focus on the output, the outcome, the results, what is to be achieved. If you give a team a task and tell them the goal and give them the flexibility to operate within that construct, the odds of you getting more creative and innovative ideas increase exponentially, versus if you give that team a goal and tell them precisely how to do it. So having that vision for the outcome and the output is one of the things that separates those organizations. Next, they cultivate trust. The kind of trust that's not commonly found in the corporate world. A reciprocal trust that occurs between a manager and an individual contributor, or a senior manager and a middle manager. The kind of trust that allows them to operate freely and without concern of consequences, as long as they're operating in the boundaries of what's been described regarding outcomes. In one organization, I had the chance to interview the people that were considered most innovative in that business. And one of the things that I heard quite frequently was that they trusted their leader to, quote unquote, have their back. They trusted their leader to make sure that there wouldn't be consequences negatively if an innovation failed, as long as it stayed within the boundaries of what was acceptable behavior. Another one of those characteristics I find is that they're willing to push back on the status quo. They're willing to push against upper management. That doesn't mean that they're rebels, and that doesn't mean that they're recalcitrant in any way, but it does mean that they're willing to push back and to disagree and to challenge senior management over the status quo. Remember, we're innovating here. It's not about maintaining the same. Another thing I've noticed about these cultures where innovation thrives is that leaders do a tremendous job of setting stretch goals. Goals that just exceed the grasp or just exceed the reach of the organization or the team, because it requires innovation to get there. It doesn't require a whole lot of innovation to maintain the status quo or to keep sameness in the organization, so you need to set stretch goals that are just beyond the reach. And lastly, in cultures where innovation thrives, you need leaders who can inspire and motivate. Now, I know you expect me to say that because I co-authored a book called The Inspiring Leader. And while that's true, one of the things that I heard while I was interviewing people in very innovative organizations was that without inspiration, there is no innovation. So again, it's innovation, innovation, and innovation. It's what the best companies do to stay ahead of their competition. And the leaders in this area don't rely on a couple of people to be innovative or one or two people to come up with the great ideas. They get there by creating a culture of innovation. A culture where your great ideas come from multiple perspectives, a diversity of opinions, and new ideas everywhere. Do that and create that kind of culture, and you'll find that innovation thrives in every corner of your business.